Welcome to the Industry Series Dialogue. I'm Pragya Mishra and I'm heading the Customer Success and Operations Department at Courseplay. Courseplay is a 360-degree employee growth platform. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on a topic that's often talked about but rarely seen in action: the invisible levers of leadership. We all know about strategies and policies, but what are the subtle, almost undetectable habits that truly separate a good leader from a great one? In this episode, we'll explore those unseen forces, from a coaching mindset to the power of micro moments that shape team culture and drive performance. To discuss this topic further, our guest today is Preeti Nayak, a multi award winning HR leader with 2 decades of experience in shaping cultures that thrive on growth, engagement, and innovation. Preeti is currently the head of Human Resources India at PKF O'Connor Davies. Hi, Preeti. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Pragya. It's a pleasure, and thank you for having me.
Most welcome. So let's delve into the first question of the day. Beyond strategies and policies, what invisible habits or behaviors actually define effective leadership, in your opinion?
So, I would like to say this is a very interesting topic that we've picked up today. And we, as seasoned leaders, have had a lot of discussions around strategies and policies. And I think now the world has gone beyond it. For me, the one visible lever is follow through on small things. And in one of my earlier HR leadership roles, I noticed how employees remembered not the grand speeches, but whether the leader followed up on smaller and simpler things like checking on a personal challenge that they may have shared. Um, when a leader remembers small things like how your mother's surgery went or circles back beyond work, I think over time these moments are the ones that build more trust than maybe formal town halls or formal one-on-one catch-ups.
That's a great point, Preeti. Actually, this is something that I also connect with. And in other words, maybe we can call this empathy and
Yeah.
having, just remembering that we are all humans in the end. I really love this point.
Thank you.
Uh, so, moving ahead, how does a coaching mindset change the way leaders connect with their teams?
So it's wonderful to be a coach as well. In fact, recently, gone through a couple of certifications and also ICF, and I saw the beauty of coaching, how it really can turn tables, to the ownership lying with the person who's getting coached and not the coach. We have seen various forms of, mentoring or coaching as such, but coaching definitely I see the power of this in performance conversations. Instead of saying, here's what you need to fix, or telling them what to do, I changed and I began asking, what do you think really went well? What would you do differently the next time? So let the answers come from the person who's getting coached. If I may recall, one of my team members who was, and one of not my team members, but one of the team members who was introverted and had used to be a little hesitant to speak. Through we spent some time coaching, and through consistent coaching style questions, she began to voice her ideas more confidently. Uh, and cut short a year later, uh, she started leading presentations with a lot of ease. So that shift in her capability, it was her confidence that was built. We could she could unlock with the help of coaching what she because she felt heard of and not being judged instead. So that's the power of coaching. Really, the ownership comes to the person instead of dependence on running back to a mentor or a leader.
That's a great point. However, I have a follow-up question on this. Do you
Yes, please.
think while coaching, personalizing and customizing coaching plans is also important? Because the example that you gave, where this particular person had certain problems or weaknesses, and then these were individually addressed. What are your thoughts on this?
Absolutely. Coaching has to be personalized. Coaching is one-on-one. So, and each individual will have a different need. So, having your leaders to be the next coaches and mentors, and telling them the difference between, leading versus a mentoring versus a coaching, and which hat to use when, really matters, and it has to be one-on-one.
Great. Thank you so much for that. So now tell me, why is strength-based leadership more effective than focusing on fixing weaknesses?
So we all have our strengths and weaknesses, and we usually try to keep sharpening only the strengths, and that's a human tendency. And weaknesses lie somewhere unless and until we need them, and then we realize, oh no, this is when I need to start working on my weakness. So a lot of importance is given to strengths as such. And when I introduced strength-based discussions in my firm, the results were pretty visible. I think when we focus on strengths, I can give an example of one manager who was extremely detailed oriented. However, he struggled with big picture thinking. Traditionally, we would say this was the gap for this manager. So instead, what we did was we paired him up with another colleague who thrived in, ideation, having a vision, who loved visioning. Together, what we saw that they paired up and produced results which are far better than either one of them could do them by themselves alone. So this way, the manager also felt valued and not lacking, or not really, thinking about his weakness, but played with his strength and came up with the right solution. So focusing on strengths doesn't mean you really ignore on your weakness. It just means that you're not letting, them define you as a person. Sometimes it is the orchestra, everybody comes with a different instrument and a strength. And so how you orchestrate the entire in corporate world is, working on this project or working on those assignments, uh, how you build that orchestra.
I'd actually like to try this now in my team because this is pretty interesting.
Yeah, and it definitely, I'm telling you, it'll definitely work.
Yep. I'm confident it'll. Uh, so now, this is something we've already covered a bit in the first question. But what role do micro moments such as recognition, feedback, or listening play in shaping team culture?
Well, I love listening, and listening is an overused term, but it is important, and it plays, an important role in different, parts of the conversation, the moments that we have. And let's talk about these micro moments at this point, because you asked me around micro moments. So, micro moments are really, a culture in action, and that's what I believe. For instance, during let me again recall a moment where during one of the hectic audit season, I would say, um, I had made a point to highlight small wins from the internal clients that we were getting, or the internal channels that we were getting. And that made a lot of difference, because recognizing, small things like someone sitting back late nights just during the busy period in the audit world. Also, somebody coming up with a creative client solution was really impacting. Those recognitions were impactful to the team members, and that made a lot of difference, because I can say that because months later, I heard team members telling me and the leaders that these small acknowledgments really help them, going, because we all don't just work for paychecks, right? I mean, What really matters is those daily efforts being recognized, and also that the meaning is, delivered in these little moments, which we call as micro moments.
Yeah, I think we often overlook these micro moments or these very small moments that all of us probably experience with our other team members but fail to recognize. I hope leaders across the world actually start focusing on this more and build a great culture.
Yeah, and I'm seeing that happening in action because while we speak, I know so many of my HR colleagues from the other organizations, and whenever we meet, we do talk about the importance of these micro moments, and they do matter. And that action has started, and I just feel that culture has, this is a part of each and every organization's culture now.
Yeah, yeah, that's valid. But speaking about teams and colleagues, how can leaders consistently apply these levers across hybrid and global teams? Also, because I work remotely, and my most of my team is based in certain part of the country, and this would be a great input, I think, for a lot of teams out there that are working remotely across the globe.
Absolutely, and we do as well at PKF O'Connor Davies. While we have various, we have 4 offices in 4 different locations, as well as we're working with our US offices. So, and having worked, in my career journey with global as well as national different organizations, these are really important, concerns, or I would say important aspects that we really need to be mindful about. I've managed hybrid teams as well. So one ritual, I introduced was Friday 5. Uh, it was a check-in email, which on every Friday leaders sent with 5 quick recognitions. So this is one of the things that we started across locations. It wasn't fancy, but definitely, team members loved seeing their names, other offices being celebrated. So it's, not wait for that monthly catch up or monthly celebrations, but just a small ritual every week. For global and hybrid teams, again, we work hybrid. We are one of the flexible CPA firms in India, which also is still hybrid. What really matters for such teams, globally as well as in hybrid environment, is consistency. Recognition, feedback, or also listening should not depend on the proximity. Uh, Leaders need to be mindful about it. They need to create an inclusive ritual, which that travels across geographies, because uh, teams are hybrid. I mean, there are team members from cities as well as countries that are working together. So there has to be consistency across geographies. Even small practices like rotating meeting times to respect the time zones uh, is a form of respect and inclusion.
Yeah, those are some great points out there. Um, Now, from your experience, what's one invisible lever most leaders overlook but should prioritize?
I said that before as well. Listening and active listening. I'm hearing you type, but then I want to, I want to listen to you. I want to understand you. There is a difference to it. So that's really what matters. Leaders underestimate how much culture is shaped on how well we listen, and how well we respond after listening, the right response. So policies really can't replace listening. I think that is one skill that we need to develop.
I strongly agree with this because I've often seen that most of these cultures are top down. So if I have, for example, been listening to my team members, in return, I've actually noticed that other team members also start doing the same thing. They start paying attention and they take genuine interest. So I'm fully on board with this point.
Exactly, and that's a skill that you don't really need to teach anybody, it needs to be practiced. The more you practice, the sharper you get at active listening.
Yep. Totally agree. We've had a great conversation today. Thank you so much for all the insightful points today, Preeti. It was a pleasure having you with us.
Thank you so much. And I hope, these culture of listening and also these micro moments is something that we all carry forward as we start building larger global cultures and inclusive global cultures in the corporate world. Thank you.
Thank you, Preeti.